I'm Colin.
And I'm Megan.
And this is
Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter.
Happy Monday, everybody. We hope you're doing well. No kitchen confession this week. However, what we do have in store for you is an amazing interview with Dan Reitman from Dan's Dog Walking and Pet Sitting. Dan sat down with us recently to discuss what his company has been through and how he has been responding on social media. Dan was gracious enough to give us some few pointers and some ideas for what are some things we can be posting during this time where we're sitting at home or we're trying to come up with ways to continue to be active and engaged with our clients and the people around us. To hear more about Dan, his business, how he got started, and all of the background, check out episode 29. Before we get started with that interview, did you know we have a phone number? It's 636-364-8260. Megan and I are working on putting together an episode all about how you guys are doing and how you are coping with this. So we'd love it if you could leave us a voicemail so that we can use that audio in an upcoming show that we know will be so uplifting and encouraging to others, to remind us all that we're not alone, but we want you to be telling that story too. So give us a call and let us know. Now on to the interview.
I just figure whatever could be helpful for people, because I know everyone's kind of like, what do I do here?
Yeah.
And it's I'm right there with you guys. It's been a lot of like figuring out and like even taking a step back. We cut down on our posting for a little bit, just because I think people are a little tired of just hearing everything pertaining to this. So we've been trying to space it all out. It was pretty intense when we were starting to wind down, and then we were like, all right, let's give this a little bit of a break.
Sure.
So
yeah, it's that trying to walk that balance between being relevant and providing important information and not overloading with it, because I think everyone, as this continues to stretch, people are starting to go, and I know I'm feeling it, and Megan is too, of just like, oh, I was burned out from dog walking, but now I'm kind of burned out from COVID.
I've been on I only check the news in the morning, and then that's it. I get the numbers for the day. But other than that, because like the first couple of weeks of this, I was just news constantly, and I was like, I've got a pretty good baseline anxiety to begin with. Then you stack on a global pandemic and an economic meltdown, and I'm like, all right, I shouldn't continue to look at this information.
Yeah, the one that got me was the Johns Hopkins global, where it showed all the dots. Like that one was like, oh, I can't. I need to remove this from my browser history and forget how to find this ever again, because that one you can just sit there and really, whoo.
I look at that so often that if I type the letter J into my search bar, it pulls up Johns Hopkins coronavirus map. It's at this point, unless you're an epidemiologist, just kind of focus on staying healthy and focus on your friends and family, staying in contact with people, and trying to do good things for yourself and the people around you, instead of making yourself crazy, which is something that I've been struggling with. If anyone else is feeling that, you're not the only one losing it right now. I definitely, it's been a lot of emotional up and down during all this stuff. Yeah. Everyone who's in this industry's been hit hard, and for everyone out there going through it, like, just realize this does have an end. We don't know when it is yet, but your clients will be there when we come back. And that's one of the things that's been so nice to see and hear, is like the really, really incredibly warm messages we've been getting from people. Like, we want to support you guys through this. Like, we have clients who are still paying for services, even though we're not walking their dog. One of the things that made me crazy was having to let my team go. We furloughed everybody, so they all know they have a job when we come back. Mm-hmm. But, they have great resources, unemployment, and hopefully these stimulus checks come out. But I threw together a GoFundMe, and we do GoFundMes and crowd rises all the time. We do breast cancer fundraisers and stuff like that. We usually raise $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. In a week, we raised $10,000 for the staff, which blew my mind. And so most of them don't know about it, that we're doing this yet. So this is going to be a surprise on Monday. I'm going to say, hey, just add me on Venmo. I've got a little something for you.
Sweet.
And we're going to be sending some money out to the team, which will be nice.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was. And some clients donated like a lot of money that I was like, whew, thank you.
Yeah.
Like it because it means a lot. I think it's an interesting shift in the workforce right now where lots and lots of people, like a lot of my friends who are in finance, guys at hedge funds, stuff like that, they're just working from home, but it's business as usual. I mean, it's chaos, but they're still working and they're still doing their thing. Whereas, people who work in the service industry or industries that have been hit very hard by this, it is it's temporarily very life altering.
Yeah.
And, puts a lot of stuff in perspective, and you really got to think about like, oh, maybe I shouldn't buy those extra expensive chocolate bars, or maybe I don't need those extra kombuchas. It's definitely gotten me a little bit more focused on the finances of things for sure. And just kind of keeping tabs on my spending. Whereas before I was, we've been in a great economy for a very long time. And, businesses have been growing and growing and growing. And if anyone has started anything in the last 9-10 years, you've been on a very, very nice upswing. And so it's time for some course correction.
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons to be learned on the back end of this when we start reviewing, like, okay, like what was my definition of security beforehand, and what did I think was okay, and how is that different? How was that shaped? And now how do I prepare for something moving forward from this?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are probably going through a lot of, running their budgets. And if you haven't been on top of your numbers right now, it's a very, very, I'm not a finance guy. I'm not going to sit here and give anyone financial advice, but I would, if you need help, reach out for it. There's tons of great resources, especially in all these groups that we're all in the industry. There's a lot of people, a lot of CPAs who've been talking. There's a ton of great stuff out there. And if you need help, do not hesitate to ask people. I think a lot of people in this industry are, when you work for yourself, you're very used to kind of taking charge and doing your own thing. And it's important to know, like, all right, I don't know this. I got to ask for help. I recently switched to a new accounting team, and they are fantastic. And they've been walking me through. I've been calling them nonstop for the past 2 weeks about all these loans. They're definitely sick of hearing me and probably regret giving me their cell phone numbers. But
no,
they've been. It's really good to lean on your resources right now. I think that's one thing that's super important for people to do.
Yeah. Well, I think people are, as they have this time too, they're finding where the leaks are that they maybe not have noticed. You talk about how that 10-year swing that everybody had and was experiencing of, okay, well, I'm not really going to notice if that $50 doesn't make it in from that client that one time. But now a lot of us sitting down going, oh, like that person actually never paid from 3 weeks ago, and I have time to notice it now where I didn't before.
Yeah.
And so, that's those kind of practices are good, where you have the time and as you mentioned, reaching out to CPAs and people who have help for some of this more advanced stuff. But it's really putting us all in that position to go, oh, okay, there are some leaks here that maybe I can patch up moving forward.
Yeah, definitely a great time to run through your numbers and make sure you've got, no holes in that leaky boat.
Right. You talked about a little bit how, you have shifted and your services are down. Have they changed at all as what you're offering, or are you kind of sticking to some of just what your core services are?
We're still offering our, baseline dog walking services. We're not doing overnights, obviously, anymore. We're down to a very small handful of just essential visits. We have a couple of elderly clients and immunocompromised clients who, it's just not safe for them to be going outside and doing things in terms of being out there. So we've been still doing that. One service I did start pushing. It's funny because when I first started the business, I offered a kitchen replenishment service, which was I'd go to the grocery store and pick up your groceries. And so now we've been doing that more. So grocery stuff, pharmacy stuff. I started doing the pooper scooper stuff about a year ago, but I've been pushing that. Anything pertaining to outside, but I'm starting to get requests from people who are, hey, so-and-so is sick and can't walk their dog. I got to run through a list of questions before I go to the house because, you got to be careful and you got to be mindful. Even if you're taking all the precautions, you just don't want to be a potential vector for another person of this, getting into their home. So, if you're in the more densely populated areas like I am, you just got to be mindful of what you're taking on. But yeah, it's a weird shift. I miss a lot of the dogs that I used to see. Now I wasn't walking dogs nearly as frequently as I wasn't walking dogs every day.
Right.
So I'm doing it every day now, but it's become more of a solo kind of situation. Like I still am in constant communication with my team. I'm checking in with them every couple of days. We've been doing some Zoom chats. We did a company happy hour, which was fun over Zoom, and we had a couple of cocktails. And Monday we're doing. I'll send you the name of the platform, but it's like one of these quiz game things you could do over Zoom, or like with videos. We just want to make sure we stay in contact with the team and stuff like that. But it's been it's just so weird. All of this is just so strange to shift.
Yeah, and especially I think, for you having built and expanded so vastly over the last several years to now be put in that position of, oh, it's me out there doing walks again and trying to, but I've got all the structure out there that I still need to be in touch with and communicating and checking on them. So I think that's probably kind of an interesting position to be in.
Yeah, it's I really wasn't handling much on the client communication side unless they needed to be escalated to me. I wasn't handling much on the hiring side either, or even billing. I was doing, I was basically overseeing things and focusing on the growth of the company. And it's, we were actually, before all this started, we were getting prepared to double our service area into a whole other county. And we were gearing everything up. And it's just, all right, we'll put this on pause. And yeah, it's less work overall, which is nice. I'm trying to reach out to clients as often as I can. I've got some clients who I know have, older relatives, people who had dogs who were older or sick. I want to check in, make sure they're okay. And that is one of the biggest things is even though everything has come to a standstill, keeping communication with both your team and your clients is very important. You want to really keep that communication line open, whether it's, hey, this is what we're doing. Hey, this is services we're offering. But I honestly think the best thing you can do is how can I help you? Right. What can I do to help? And that's one of the things we've been trying to do with local businesses as well is with the downtime and the shift from me having to worry about all these different things is what can I do to help another local business owner? Because like, there's not much I can do. Like, I'm not willing to take on a ton of risk right now. I want to make sure I'm healthy, my people are healthy, figure out a way to get through this. But there are, there's restaurants that are struggling in everyone's towns. There are, local small businesses. Do what you can to like really help them, whether it's sharing an offer, stuff like that, or promoting their business through your social media or email blast is a really positive thing to be able to do.
Yeah. Now, as you're reaching out to clients and to staff and people around you, are you finding that the need of the clients is still there, or have they been saying, "Oh no, I'm not going to need this in the future," or what kind of things are they wanting as clients?
I haven't had a single person say they're not going to need it in the future. They are incredibly supportive. They have been asking how we are, how the staff are, and I think overall it's been, we can't wait to get you guys back to work. Because I'd say the majority of my client base, most of them are working from home right now, except for those that are like essential workers, working at hospitals and things like that. So, again, it's just a shift of their workplace. So their dogs are obviously very, their pets are very excited that they're home. But I think it's, they've all been very supportive and when I ask, what can I do for you? They ask, hey, is there any services you're offering that I can use right now? But it hasn't, I don't think I've really had anything where people are like, yeah, I'm not going to be needing this in the future. Like maybe one or two, but overall it's been, we can't wait to get you back out there and walking the dog.
I think there's been this kind of general tension or fear of some sitters and some pet care professionals of, needing to retain clients or gain new ones during this time, and fear of losing clients moving forward of, okay, if I'm not open and they go to somebody else, will they never come back to me? And so how can I be reaching out to them and letting them know that I'm still here for the long haul?
I think on that front, it's important to think long term, not short term. It's pretty doubtful that people are jumping. If they've been a client of yours for a while, I highly doubt they're going to just jump ship and go to somebody else during this. Now, again, it depends on what part of the country you're in. Over here in New York, it's we're technically considered an essential service, animal care, but it boiled down to me not wanting to put clients and staff at risk. But I really think as long as you are in communication and you're doing things to, maintain that channel of communication with your clients, you just want to stay, like I've been doing it where, we're trying not to inundate people. We've been doing maybe like a weekly email blast. Hey, just checking in, want to see how you guys are doing. I've been texting clients, I've been calling staff. It's really just about reaching out because everyone's kind of in their own bubble right now. I think that to be worried about losing the business, you're kind of wasting energy. Take that energy and focus it into maintaining the relationship. Because what is it? They say it's 10 times more expensive to get a new client than it is to maintain an existing one.
Sure.
And chances are, if your clients are working from home and they're taking care of their own dog, and you reached out if you did have to shut down and you made the call, I got a lot of actually really, really positive messages back from people like, hey, I think you did the right thing. I know it couldn't have been easy. And a lot of support because again, like if we're going from house to house to house, people might be uncomfortable with, someone coming in, even if you are, switching the gloves, switching the masks and all that stuff. I think you got to think long term with this, and you can't be so worried about losing them because if you do that, and this is speaking from a standpoint of being a very anxious person, it's going to consume your head and it's going to make you crazy. Try to focus in on what you can do to help and just continue to keep those communication channels open with them.
Focusing on what you can do is so critical right now.
You guys have actually been putting out some great content, by the way.
Oh, well,
on your Instagram, there was one, I was losing it the other day and I read it. I was, all right, calm the fuck down. It definitely, you got like that kind of stuff. You're touching people with that. Like you're definitely like reaching people. Like I actually like saw the post and was like, all right, I can't control everything. I got to breathe. I got to take a moment here.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, we're learning through this too. And that's so hard is to remember of like, what can I control? What can't I? And then where should I be investing my energy? And like you said, there are things that I can be doing, and that's where I need to be right now, and continue to move forward and chunk away at that. And that's in those when people are scared and when you're nervous or when you're anxious, like that's a kind of a hard shift to make. But so that's not easy, and I don't think anybody's downplaying that at all of just saying, oh, just do the right thing or
just relax.
Just relax, right?
Just calm down. What are you so worried about?
Yeah. That is always relaxed somebody 100% of the time, right? So everybody's trying to learn and adjust to this, and that's I know that gives me a lot of comfort is knowing like, okay, I'm not the only one that wakes up in the morning going, what on earth today?
Yeah. It's something, it's easy to forget too, because if you're used to being kind of like, you run your own business, you do your own thing. And, if you're in communication with your team, but like, you're not really interacting with people. So everyone's in their own little bubbles, freaking out individually. But this is a humanity thing. Yeah. Our planet is going through this. This is something that's affecting people in Australia and Africa and Asia. Like this is a global pandemic. We are all going through this together, and it is hopefully at some point going to become a unifying thing. I think there's been a lot of, that's why I've been really happy to turn the news off, just hearing everyone talking.
Yeah.
Because it'll make you crazy. But I think it is important to realize that, you know, there's only so much you can control, and you got to take a step back and breathe, which I am awful at. I have an amazing girlfriend who forces me to do these things. She balances me out very well. You know, makes me do yoga and stuff with her, and meditation, which has been honestly like, I had a day the other day. I came home, I was losing it. She's like, "Come on, we're doing yoga." Did yoga, we meditated, and I got to like such a zen place. She was like, "Are you asleep?" No, I'm just really weirdly peaceful. Like no one's used to seeing me like very calm and like level.
Sure.
So, anytime I'm at like a very like peaceful thing, like, "Are you okay? What's happening?
What's wrong? Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, what's wrong?" It's that, or they assume I'm sleeping.
Sure.
So
I think, yeah. So as we're moving through those adjustments, a lot of us are starting to think back to the way we used to operate, and one of those is how we managed our social media and our online presence. So I'm curious how you guys have made that shift into what you're doing these days, as to what, compared to, gosh, it's crazy to say, even 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago,
3 weeks ago. Yeah, it's been a very abrupt shift. Obviously, you've seen some of our videos that Maura and I make.
Yeah.
Where we're eating all sorts of silly dog treats and stuff, and making these funny videos, which right now are on hold. We used to be out taking, pictures of the staff every day, constantly making content, and that all has kind of come to a halt. I think the last picture of one of us on a walk was of me the other day. Moro came out and met me because I was walking a dog near him, and he took a picture of me from his car, and we posted that. But it's been an odd shift. I mean, Moro's been doing some work remotely. We've all kind of taken a step back until the Paycheck Protection Program stuff comes in. But honestly, I think it's important to take that step back and think, all right, let's not panic. Let's figure out what are the things that I can do to be a positive influence. So, one is, obviously we've all been inundated with COVID-19 information, but it is helpful if you do have a following to share some information pertaining to what are the symptoms, what are the things you could do to keep yourself clean and safe from this. We put out a couple of pieces of content, but that was actually, I think, before everything even shut down. We put out the bulk of our stuff prior to this all shutting down. Honestly, we've been trying to put some cute and funny stuff up. I know we've been resharing people's content of just cute videos of dogs, because again, we're seeing a lot of overwhelming stuff online and in the news. And I think being able to be a voice of comedic relief is something that I've always enjoyed. I've always loved being able to make someone laugh. And I think laughter is a really important thing during this. You need a lot of love and a lot of laughter to get through something like what we're all dealing with. And, if you can find some funny videos and repost them, make sure you give credit to whoever you take it from.
Sure.
But, if you're not comfortable making your own content, there is a ton of amazing content on the internet with animals. If you haven't checked, there's a lot of cute videos and a lot of funny ones. Mm-hmm. And now is a great time too. If you're comfortable, or you're like, maybe I should do it, try getting in front of the camera. If you've got a pet at home, you've got ideas for a funny video, give it a shot. Another one I think will be well received is support of your local health professionals. So what we've been doing is we've been sharing a lot of content of people at the local hospitals, local businesses that have been, restaurants who've been bringing food to them, things like that. Do what you can to show support for those people who are putting their lives on the line, who are really taking some real risks and doing what they do. The doctors, the nurses, the healthcare professionals in general, people working at the hospitals, the food staff, all those people, make sure to thank them. There's tons and tons of great platforms out there. There's, obviously a lot of people use Canva. I highly recommend that if you don't have, as I like to say, a Moro. Moro, for those of you who don't know, is the guy who makes all of our amazing content. Mm-hmm. But there's great tools out there where you can put together some original pieces and make sure to thank those people who are doing the work that they're doing. really trying to promote local businesses. Like I was saying before, like, we made the tough choice to shut down for non-essential services, and there are businesses that are still opening and they are struggling. So it is important to be able to do what you can to promote them. Like we've been DMing a lot of local companies, and we're actually in the process of aggregating every local business that's still open, what they're offering, and we're actually putting out a list, and we're emailing it out to our clients. Be a positive light in your community. Yeah. DM as many businesses as you can, reach out, share their content on your stories, DM them and say, hey, what can I do to help you guys? I've got an email list of X amount of people. I'd love to promote your business. Because one, it's just a positive thing to do and be a good person during this. But that stuff's also going to pay dividends in the long run when things.
Well, and I will say I've loved seeing your guys' post of the local businesses. I think you guys were right on top of that really early on in this whole thing, and it was been really cool to see. And I, if people haven't checked out your Instagram to see those kind of posts and how you've been supporting them, I really encourage people to do that, because it is really inspiring to see you being a light in the community, and it has been inspiring to us too, to try and reach out and try and do the same thing on, with the businesses that are around us. So I know that's something we've been trying to emulate too, here for us.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely something that it's easy. It's something that takes 30 seconds. Like one of the best things you can do, and this is how we've been doing it, is we just search by geotags on Instagram rather, and we look up local businesses. We see if they're promoting anything like, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that. You could take an hour out of your day and just go through all the towns in your area and promote their content. And like sometimes you don't have to DM them, just tag them in it, share it. You will be blown away by like, hey, what can I do to help you? And because obviously don't do it expecting something in return, but a lot of businesses have been trying to promote us. I'm like, look, we're kind of on pause right now, but whatever we can do to help. But in the future, we'll be knocking on your door.
right. But it's a continuing way to build those relationships and dig into community. Because I think right now we are all finding just how important, like we talked a lot about how important community was, but really now times like this really show you just how essential. You talk about essential businesses, how essential community is just to your well-being.
Yeah.
And something a lot might take for granted at sometimes, and this is really refocusing that to move forward of like, no, like the people around you, the businesses, the community around you are what it's really all about. And those kind of posts help elevate that and help shine those lights on people where they need it.
It's definitely something I think that, if anyone, we're all going through it now. We're all freaking out. Imagine what these restaurants are going through. They've had to lay off most of their people. Any support you can give them, it would mean the world to them. So any way you could promote any local businesses is always a huge one for sure. We've actually been reaching out to our clients, and since everyone's working from home, we've been aggregating all these cute pictures of them and their pets. We're going to put a little montage together later next week. Staff with their pets at home, and just, open up, be vulnerable, share like, hey, we know everyone's going through something really rough right now. We want to know that you're here for you. We're here for you. And like really make the community aware, like, hey, what can we do to help? What's going on? How can we be of service to you? And really offer yourself and your company up in a way that is, again, trying to be a positive light in the community. That's really what this all boils down to, is just be something positive.
Right. Well, and you miss the pets too, and you want to see how they're doing. And
oh my God, that's so much.
That's something too that when everything was shutting down and closing down, I think that may have been on the back of a lot of our minds, but now it's really becoming apparent of like, oh my, I need to see the dog. I need to see the pets. I need to see them and make sure, and see that they're doing okay. And, it's a big hole that we're all having that, can be filled with photos from their owners.
Yeah. The photos are temporary fix for sure. I mean, I have one dog that I personally take care of. He's this 150-pound Rottweiler, and he is the biggest mush. His head is like this big. He is the biggest mush in the world, but he unfortunately recently was diagnosed with bone cancer. So he's been undergoing treatment. So I'm texting his owner like every other day, like, hey, I don't want to bother you. I just want to make sure he's okay.
Yeah. And,
he's loving all the time with everybody at home and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely something that you miss is that, the touch point with the animals. That's at the end of the day, that's why most of us, I think, got into this industry is you like being around animals.
Yeah. No.
And, taking that away, you're like, wait, so this is just, what do I do? I don't know what to do with my hands now. That has actually been a really weird part of doing visits still. It's like, I'm so used to like mushing dogs on my face and giving them kisses. I barely touch them because it's like, I don't want to, even though I'm wearing gloves and all that stuff, I just don't want to take any potential risk with the clients and their well-being.
Right.
Just being extra precautious with transmission and things like that. It's just been a strange shift in day-to-day things.
Yeah. It's gonna look different for a little while, but it's just a little while, and hopefully it'll get back together. Yeah, fingers crossed for sure.
Yeah, it's whatever this new normal is going to be, it will arrive, and we will all recover from this.
Yeah.
It's definitely take some time to breathe. I think is one of the important things to take away from what we're all dealing with is breathe, and we will get through this as a community by reaching out to each other and talking with everybody. And one thing I actually think would be great for people, and I'll send you a link to what we have set up. We've put together a list of just health and wellness resources for people.
Yeah.
So Headspace, I know, is offering a ton of free meditation stuff. Beachbody is offering 2 free weeks of workouts. So for those of you who are looking for at-home workouts, Yoga by Adrian, I've been using a lot on YouTube. So I can send you a link with all that stuff. But
yeah,
sending that stuff out to your clients and promoting that stuff as a business is like, give people those resources, because yes, everyone could go Google stuff, but if people are freaking out, and that, like I said, even with your post I read the other day, I was like, okay, they might see something and be like, you know what, I'm going to try this. I'm going to go meditate. And then, you might have an impact and shift the rest of their day. You never know, what your content is going to do and who it's going to reach and who it's going to be shared with. And, you could have a positive impact on someone's day.
Well, and we tend to view ourselves a lot of as just pet information repositories, but there are favorite things that we enjoy that we can share of like, hey, this is helping me today. I can share that, and maybe that'll help somebody else. And that's that simple gesture of the yoga by Adrian of this is something I enjoy doing. Hey, I'll tell somebody else about it. And normally maybe I wouldn't have, but right now is a really good time to be sharing those kind of resources to people around you and your clients too. Because they need it too. I'm wondering, as you've gone through this process, some things that you've learned that you want to continue on in the future. Once all this kind of resolves, maybe things you want to continue doing, or maybe you're like, I know I got to stop this immediately.
One of the big ones is promoting local businesses. We had just started doing it. We were before this all started, we were talking about doing featuring pet-friendly local businesses, going in and doing a short interview with them, making a video, and then they could share that content. You guys definitely need to capitalize on your community in terms of the reach it has, because if you share something from this place, they might share your stuff. Start talking, start communicating. Like DMing people on Instagram is one of the easiest things you can do, and you can reach so many people. Now, not every business owner is going to respond, but the ones that are responding, those are the ones that are active, and you can start building some great relationships. And that's one thing we're definitely be pushing. Like once this paycheck protection program goes through, I'm going to put one of my guys to work just DMing businesses and people in the community and just starting to use this digital infrastructure and taking more advantage of it. I don't think if there's anything I'm going to stop doing. Well, definitely never going to complain about being busy again. I mean, I'm sure I will, but I think that's one thing, the industry as a whole, we're always like, oh my God, it's insane. I have nothing, like I have no breathing room. Like, okay, this is enough breathing room. I definitely, aside from, outside of the social media, just trying to take a little bit better care of myself. I've lost 10 pounds since this started. Just working out like a madman every day because I got to get this nervous energy out somehow. Meditating more and just trying to practice more things that are good for you. Because if you are more steady-handed, you're going to make better business decisions. You are going to be more clear-headed when you go into things. If you can do something positive for yourself that makes you feel good, you're going to feel so much better going throughout your day.
The number of times we heard, I haven't taken a vacation day in 5 years, or I work 7 days a week for the past 10 years or whatever, and now we don't have that, and now it was like literally forced to have that space, and being forced to now build up a lot of these mechanisms that maybe weren't there in the first place of, oh, I didn't know how to be quiet for 5 minutes. And now that's all I that's and for those of us who must be doing something constantly and just like I need to fidget, I need to listen, I need to be doing something, like this is a big learning process for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's taking the positive of that is, you said practicing things that are good for you, and really taking this time to do that, because you might not get this chance again. And so what better chance to really build up those tools and those reserves and that resiliency in yourself, so that moving forward you can operate in a healthier manner for your business and for your clients, for everything.
You're not going to pour sugar water into your car because it's not going to run well. You got to put good things into your body and good things into your mind, because the better you feel, the better you're going to be able to be for your staff, for your clients, for your business, and just for living life as a whole. Because again, I think this is putting a lot of things in perspective.
Yeah.
It's we've all seen a very quick drop in our income, but for those of you who are out on the coast or in areas that are getting hit hard, like you're starting to see people lose people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's important to make sure that you spread as much love as you can and try to be a positive light, whether it's in your business or in your friends' lives. I've been finding myself, at first when this started, I was kind of holding off from people and was just like, all right, I got to focus. I got to do this. I got to do that. Took me a couple of weeks, and within the last couple of days, I've been like, all right, you got to start talking to people. So I've been reaching out to people like, yeah, I'm kind of losing it. Like, this has not been easy. And like being vulnerable with people has been, it's not always an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
But I think when you open up to other people, allows them to open up and they can unburden. And, again, just going back to positivity.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Spread love as much as you can.
Well, and as you mentioned, like when you say spread love, I think a lot of people think, oh, that's just smiles and hugs and smiles and smiley shiny faces. But what love is when you're expressing that to somebody, it's this is where I am, and being vulnerable to somebody and going, oh, today was not a good day, and I'm about to lose it, and I don't know what to do from here. And that really frees everybody when everyone is sharing like that to other people. That allows good things. That allows healing to start to, like that's a hard place to be to as a person, especially people who are used to being busy and not interacting with other people and not having to deal with those because you were always busy. And now time to be vulnerable and time to love on others by being vulnerable. And as you said, when you are, that opens it up for other people to do as well. And okay, it's okay for me to kind of break down right now, and it's okay for us to start working through this together.
It is it's definitely, it's an important thing. It's not easy. Just remember you're going through this with everyone else, and try to just do what you can and keep on moving forward, and we will get through this.
Yeah, we will get through this. I love that. Dan, thank you so much for coming on today and taking time out of your day and breathing with us. And I know there's so much out there, and I love of all the content ideas that you gave. People are probably going to have some follow-up questions. How can they get in touch with you and reach out?
Well, first off, Colin, thank you for having me on. I've been enjoying our conversation since this is all going.
Yeah.
They could reach out. My Instagram, my personal one is just my full name, Daniel Reitman. Or if you want, you can reach out to the company. It's just Dan's Pet Care. It's me and Mauro who deal with that. So if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. If you are freaking out about your business, I'm right there with you. I'll do what I can to help you, and I'm more than happy to speak with you guys. And do not hesitate to reach out, because it's important to be able to ask for help when you need it. And again, Colin, I love what you guys are doing. The posts have been amazing. Your podcasts have been great. Like, you guys are really doing something awesome for the industry. And I think on behalf of the industry, we all want to thank you guys for doing this. I see you guys are churning stuff out, and I know it's not easy with all the uncertainty. So thank you for doing everything you're doing, man.
Gosh, I that means so much. You don't even know. So thank you a lot, Dan. It means an awful lot. It's been.
Oh, you're very welcome, Colin.
Again, appreciate that, Dan, and we will be in touch soon for sure, and we'll continual conversations going forward, and as things change, we'll reach back out and keep moving forward together.
Beautiful. Also, members, stay safe, wash your hands, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I have loved watching how Dan and his company have responded to a crisis like we are witnessing today. His willingness and pursuit of reaching out to local businesses to bring them into community where maybe there wasn't one before, but to further that and support them in this time shows a true selfless nature towards others that we all need right now. Dan hit the nail right on the head whenever he said, think long-term, not short-term in times like these. So where your worries are, where your concerns are with your customers and with your business, it's not the tomorrow we should be concerned about. It's the next year. What steps can we be doing now, both in our community, in our personal lives, and in our business lives, to be setting ourselves up for success for the long haul? I know one of the services we all kind of quickly pivoted to recently was poop scooping. Well, coming up on Wednesday, we sit down with Erica from Croupen's Poop and Scoopin'. It's a mouthful, but it was a real insight into a world that I quite honestly didn't know a whole lot about. And she put a lot of things in context about how she built her business, how she operates, and yes, we did talk some of her favorite tools of the trade for scooping poop. If you've been thinking about offering that kind of service right now, or maybe looking ahead, really encourage you to listen to that episode. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to us. We've been asked by some people about how they could help us right now. And if this episode or any of our episodes have been insightful to you, helpful to you, or funny in any way, we'd love it if you could share it with somebody that you know, whether they're in pet sitting or not. We thank you again for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.